It's challenge day.
Let us begin.
You had to like really be like a higher up
The
or something like that. It
culture, the
wasn't,
culture was like,
yeah,
nah,
the
bro,
culture,
you
yeah,
coming
the
in.
culture was, yeah, the culture was like you gotta go in. You know what I'm saying? It's jumping on the metro or driving in or just being on like that was just the culture, right? That's just it is what it is. You're gonna
An
you're gonna
hour
run
and a
into
half
traffic.
used to take me to get to work, and they ain't paying me for that hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming and going.
Listen. So like, so the pandemic actually like really changed, obviously, really changed. It really turned the tables to like allow employees to have a little bit more say, especially if you're an employee who has leverage, right? And you're leverage from like your performance, your importance, your knowledge base, all these different things, right? If the company really sees it as an asset, and now it's becoming like a thing that people are just requiring when it comes to the job application process, right? Especially if you have skill set that you know companies need. For me in particular, I have that skill set, right? So I've been working remote for almost 3 years now. I'm currently working on a project that requires me to go to a client site every now and then. So that's I'm not really tripping on that because that's like once a month kind of thing. And that may actually change down the line because I'll be able to offload some of the work to like the lower tier guys that can handle that stuff. So I won't even need to be on the site as often.
Talk
But
that talk,
um,
nigga. Talk that talk, naysayer. Talk that talk, naysayer.
so but like my life has been totally adjusted, right, to working remote. Like it's for me right now, the way my life is set up, like it's a requirement out the gate. Like I'm not even entertained. Like it would have to be so lucrative for me to be like, all right, I go into the office 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be like really lucrative, right? And when I say lucrative, like you better have that bag for real for me. That's
Let's put a pin in that to next season where Jeff is like, so I'm working full time inside the office now.
But
wait a minute. If I carry the
but
two.
yeah. So if you see working in office, you know what happens. So, but anyways, but I've realized, it's really something that like I tried to actually even consider like when I was going to the client office, I was like, is this something I can like really just like get used to again? And I came to the conclusion I was like, nah. I was like, I really don't enjoy this at all. Like I'm like, it's like every part of it actually stresses me out. Every part of it is tiring and fatiguing. Getting there, going through traffic, dealing with people on the road, getting to work, dealing with certain things you can't necessarily like certain freedoms you can't necessarily have at work, right? And people like moving kind of gingerly because the whole politicking in different spaces and government spaces and all that stuff. So that's always annoying because you can see people
code switching.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the code switching, right? And it's like, and it's so cringe, bro. It's so cringe. It's like, oh, like it gets under your skin because you peep it. If you're in these spaces for a while, like I have been and Darwin, like you can see it. Like you can see it, and people's like, that ain't you, bro. That ain't really you, bro. And like, but we know we gotta kind of play the game a little bit, right? Like, because it's just the nature of it. So it's like we gotta politic a little bit, but we have to carry ourselves a certain way. And especially as like, because again, moon noir. So
Black. Blackness.
You know what I'm saying? So
naysayers in the workspace.
You feel me? And then you got Moon Blanc, you know what I'm saying? That you gotta like kind of carry yourself a certain way. So like, so you know that you kind of have to present yourself a certain way, you know what I'm saying, as a Black person. So so it's but I realized, man, I was sitting at the desk that I was given to like kind of like I have like a specific reserved space for me to be able to go to. Yeah, like a sign space, like whenever I go in. Like I got everything set up there. And I remember just sitting there and I was just looking around. I was just like, bro, this is not the future of like work. It really isn't, bro. Like,
especially with the technology that we got now. Come on,
man. I was just like, okay. If you're a director of a company, I can understand, right? Like,
but even a director don't be on the day-to-day like that.
Yeah, but directors,
they be in Dubai somewhere. That's a representing the company in the damn climate joint.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a whole fact. But you know what I noticed that a lot of directors have been doing is, directors are client-facing positions though. And a lot of these a lot of like the clients
out the office.
Yeah, like they won't be like, but they be on site like on different clients. You know what I'm saying? Like physically being somewhere is what I'm saying. Like physically being at a client site because you're doing a
Okay, even
negotiation, you're
that.
talking, you're
Yeah,
doing
but
all
you're
that.
not
So
gonna
like,
be assigned room number 203
yeah,
and
that's true.
sitting there
That's
all
true.
that damn day in that damn office. No,
That's very
you're
true. Yeah,
gonna go be
you're not
glad
doing that.
handing and in front of
Yeah,
people, and you're gonna be
and you're
traveling
gonna
to
be
go like to see
traveling, and
clients and stuff like that.
that's very true. That's very true.
Maybe middle management. Middle management's the people that be like,
Yeah, that be the ones. Yeah, the middle management, they be the ones that be
they be
saying
there all their goddamn time because they're
they
trying to
do.
get to that fucking other role.
Yeah, for sure. Cause they are like basically like the liaison between like the lower tier guys and like the directors. So
Mm-hmm.
they got to contact with, they got to be in communication with everybody. They got to be in the know with everything. And yeah, so
Yeah.
so you're right about that. Um, so the reason why this is a challenge for me is because like I especially being in a tech space, it's obvious. I can see that that's just not the way of the future, right? Like just being in these buildings. These buildings could have been like apartments, townhomes, and houses. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
all
could have
different
been
places,
urban
right? It could
farms.
have been it could have been a lot of different things, right? And it's like, and actually, if there's been like if you've been following this a little bit as far as the real estate, there's there's people who they can't. People are not coming in, so it's kind of like they're like wasted spaces. So it kind of gives these companies incentives to be like, yo, y'all shouldn't even be renting these places out, these buildings out for real, right?
But like now
So
you got these behemoths sitting in
yeah,
the
you got
middle of
massive,
cities with
massive
nobody
buildings,
in them.
nobody in them. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Y'all figure something out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, for real. So like, you just gotta make a better use of that space for sure. So so it's a challenge for me because I can see beyond the horizon, right? And and essentially, man, it's kind of like it's what's become more important to me as I've been aging and maturing is quality of life. It's just quality of life. But like, I'm not getting paid for the hour and a half in traffic going there and coming back. That's 3 hours on the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Of
I'm
your
not getting
day.
every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
I'm
only
not
got
getting,
24 hours of
bruh.
and gone already.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, and that's not counting like you have to get up like an hour and a half, 2 hours before to like get up and prep yourself if you want to make breakfast. If you have a wife and kids, you got to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like do your little things in the morning. Like say you got to drop your kids off and like say,
Yep.
now let me give you a scenario. So you got to drop your kids off to because on your way to work, drop your kids off to school. Yeah, that's stress, right? Because you got a lot of parents, they drop kids off, kids doing all types of
Yep.
stuff, dropping them off. So you're already kind of stressed, and now you got to hit traffic. And now it's more stress. And then now you get to work. Now you got to deal with like Karens at work and deal with, you know what I'm saying? Deal with like managers or like directors who are just like super lofty in what they want, just doing and
We
putting
know. We've all been there.
unreal expectations. And I'm sorry.
We've all been there. We know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's and all these things you realize that as you get older, you realize like, bro, this is
What is important to you?
it's draining. Yeah, it's just it's draining. It's so draining. Like if you ever wonder why when you get home from work that you're drained, that you're tired, think about all those elements of your day.
All those steps
From the time you wake up, by the time you come back home.
and then they give you a Saturday and Sunday, and you don't
Yeah.
even get the whole Sunday because
You don't-
Sunday afternoon you be like,
Yeah, you're thinking about what you got to do. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking because I ain't gonna lie even today, and it's crazy. I can only imagine people who go to work 5 days a week. I work remote predominantly, right? Like 90% remote. Even I'm thinking about what I got to do tomorrow, today, and I'm 90% remote. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and I'm just like I woke up this morning, and I was thinking like, bro. I sat up on bed. I was like,
for your own mental health, dog.
Yeah.
This shit is like stressful, dog.
It's a lot, bro. Like it's just like so you realize that money can't necessarily buy like happiness,
The quality of life or the happiness that you're looking for.
But yeah, it can't buy that, but it can certainly help. It can certainly help, right? It can certainly help to like create at least some semblance of a better quality of life. But it's really time. It's really time. You know what I'm saying? When you have more time to yourself, more time to really
to do the things that you care
about, it helps your quality of life in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? And I realize that's really what it's about, bro. Like that's really what it's about. It's really about quality of life. So like, my challenge is this is my, just to be concise. My challenge specifically is to continue on this trend of focusing on my quality of life, but to continue to upskill so that I can continue to demand the type of work-life balance.
What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, because I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe. so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too.
Bro, what do you have? Is there a challenge that you was able to address or
I
conquer?
challenged myself with making some soup Joumou,
Okay.
right?
All right.
So we're recording. This is a little bit after New Year's,
Yeah.
and traditionally Haitians eat pumpkin soup Joumou on it's really squash specifically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um
Pumpkin base and all that.
yeah, pumpkin based, you know what I mean? Try to make that on January 1st in celebration of Independence Day.
Have you ever had a soup that tastes like freedom? Yes, I said it. Freedom. In 1791, the enslaved people of the French colony of Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, shocked the world by setting fire to the sugarcane fields, revolting against the slave system that kept them in bondage. They prevailed, gaining their freedom and establishing Haiti on New Year's Day in 1804. Ever since, Haitians have celebrated Independence Day by making soup Joumou, a dish steeped in African
I've tried
tradition.
to make my own a couple of times now. You know, we don't always get the opportunity to go to the family, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're out of town and stuff like that to get some like home cooking, some original like Haitian style, you know, soup
Yeah.
joumou or any other kind of dish, really.
Mhm.
And so I took on the just at least up here for me and my and for me and mine up in this area to try to create it or recreate it and try as much as I can to keep and get the authenticity of the soup, you know, represented up here. And it's been a couple of years. I've been working on my recipe. Last year it was okay, but
Mhm.
like I could see I could see like here's the thing. I judge it like this. Can a random Haitian come try my soup and like and be like, oh, did your auntie make this? Or oh, do
Yeah.
you have a cousin that's here? Somewhere? No,
Mhm.
no, that was me. That was my soup. Oh, you
Mhm.
made it? And
Mhm.
like eyes pop out, you know, and be like, oh, snap. Not that it's great, but that it's like, I'm surprised that this is so authentically like
Yeah.
familiar, you
Yeah.
know. So this is what I'm going for to try to like. But last year, you know, I added my own little personal touch here, you know, to but it kind of like changed up the flavor profile a little bit too
Mhm.
much.
Yeah, it did.
It might have still been, it's still good. I'm gonna make food that's edible. You know, what I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
decent cook. You know, it's gonna be edible, but it was like, okay, this isn't super. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you got the
Mhm.
stuff components, but it ain't land like
Mhm.
the way it's supposed to. And so I maybe make it maybe twice a year. The main time is going to be the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Then I make it again later in the year just to kind of keep my practice up, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
So I could like, because you only make it once a year, like
Yeah. Yeah. You
last,
can.
you know what I mean, you're gonna like, you're gonna forget
Mhm.
how to adjust things kind of. So you got to keep up. If anything, you want to get good at something, you need like Malcolm Gladwell say those 10,000 hours kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna make this soup every month. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I could eat that because I really like some sushi more.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get some practice in. But I made a batch like a month ago,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, well, this is good. This is hitting. Like the spices was right, and like
Mhm.
they hit the back of your you know your palate like at the right moment with the right
Yeah.
kind of like consistency. It might have been a little bit on the spicy side. I did
Mhm.
something funky with the Scotch bonnet, but it was still good. It wasn't like too distracting, but it was like identifiable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But also I didn't have enough like broth in it. So that
Okay.
like if you didn't eat it like right away,
Yeah.
and you let it sit, that bit's gonna like
That might gonna be like clay.
soak up and it could be like clay kind of thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
still might taste straight when you
Mhm.
microwave it, but it ain't gonna be soup. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's real kind of thick. So you know when you've had soup like that before,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to avoid that, which I did. Man, my pot was like brim to the brim.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was
Mhm.
to the brim. Um, because I had folks over, and the only Asian really was you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That was there, and so what you in terms of like authenticity in terms of like if you didn't know I made it, you just walked in and like this soup was there. And
Yeah, I'd have
like
been
there
like,
was
yeah,
a
I'd be
room
like,
of like 100 people. So you don't know what would you have thought?
yeah, I would have been like, this is Super Joumou. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I think this is good. Yeah.
Is it? Is it? That's all you got for me?
Yeah,
That's it?
no,
That's
no.
all
I mean, I wouldn't have been like running around and doing backflips and like, hey, this is like, hey, who made this?
I know what
And
happened. The way you just reacted just
people like, did
now,
you make it? Did you? No, but-
the way you reacted just now is like, eh, it's not.
it was
Like,
it was no, it's
it ain't, bro. It
no,
don't cost you nothing to give me my flowers,
oh
dog.
my gosh,
It don't cost you nothing,
we,
dog. If that bit was
we've
lip
crossed this road
smacking,
before. We've crossed this road before.
it don't cost you nothing, dog. It's just your pride. That's it. It's just a little bit of pride. Was that bit hitting?
No, man.
It wasn't hitting?
Yeah, it was. I'm not saying that it wasn't.
Yeah, I had it. It was nice. It was
no.
okay. That's what I got. I got
No.
a freaking Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh over here. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I did a good
I'm
thing.
just saying, no, it was good. I'm saying.
What
it
other
was
Super
good,
Joumou
man.
you had this year? It's the best Super Joumou you had this year. How about that?
I haven't had any other Super Joumou this year.
That's why I know it's confident to say it's the best.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's what
Oh my God. But yeah, it is the only Super Joumou I've been able to have. Yeah,
But you know, my wife has had some in the past. You know, from
yeah.
our family,
Mm.
and the one that I made previously, she was like, I mean, granted, you know what I mean, the big caveat, she's not Haitian, but she's tried our stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's
We've
matter
had it before.
of fact, she probably would be the more objective because
Yeah, because she's had variations of them.
it's not she's had variations and she's not like she doesn't have like, oh, this is my auntie, so you know it's always gonna have this nostalgia.
Oh
for my
yeah, so
auntie
it's
or my
more
cousin.
more
No,
objective.
for her, it's like I tried this soup, I tried that soup. So she's tried a couple different soups from our family.
yeah.
And the last one that I made, not this one, but the last one, she was like, this is the best. Like you know, all the caveats, you know, throw them out there.
Yeah.
But she was like, yo, this is the best one I've had, right? And so again, this one wasn't that, but that one also dried up fast. You know what I mean? So she ate it like right away though at the pot. You know what I mean? So it was good. You know, consistency was nice and all that kind of stuff. But like, and she also she likes her stuff spicy. You know what I mean? So that one was a little more spicy because scotch bonnet. So you know, there's some caveats here and there and everything, but it was good. It was good. You know what I mean? So I built off of that one, but I knew that I had like a little bit of a larger audience this time around. Because what I did was I had, you know, some of my friends come over and some of them tried it. You came over, you know, and I'm introducing this thing, and I actually had to provide some history to some folks about like why this is important, why this is our tradition, kind of thing. And like part of the tradition is to share it, to share the soup. That's why I had this thing filling to the brim.
Yeah.
And it was good enough that some people took some to go.
Yeah.
You know, and so the challenge is this is it. Try to get good at that soup joumou. I think I'm gonna do it again in the summer. This summer, you know, it's a summer squash. I think that's a thing. You know what I mean? That's a thing. And I'm gonna use the same squash, but I mean like
that's an American thing.
It's an American thing. So it's like the gourd and
Nice, yeah,
pumpkins and stuff. Man, six like so it's it. You know what I mean? This is like that kind of thing.
That's
like
true.
So it's a westernish kind of thing, you know what I mean, in terms of pumpkins and whatnot and squash and stuff. So it's gonna be a season. Anyways, that would be my chance to practice it mid-year. You know, I'll practice me. So I'm probably gonna make it again in the summer, and then I'll be good to go. Maybe I'll make it again like a month out again, like maybe in December. You know, early December I might make it, and then so I could be ready for January. So I'm trying to get good. That's my challenge, to get good at making some authentic tasting soup joumou.
But I think the good thing here, at least a silver lining here, and I think it's a pretty broad silver lining. I mean, you have a baseline. Like you have a baseline of exactly of how to make it. You have currently you have a feel for it, but you're getting a better feel for it. Exactly how, you know what I'm saying?
And the one that I made, this was okay. It was
the one
good.
that you made was good. Yeah, the miniature one was good. And I think the next level is like perfecting it or getting it to a level where it's like it's repetitive, then you could probably start experimenting like, hey, let me see how, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it really
Well,
like
well,
gets into
well,
it.
one experiment that I've already done differently that specifically is my soup joumou. I don't see this in other people's soup joumou. I don't know if anybody else does it. I'm sure they do it, but I use oxtail.
Yeah, oxtail is
incorporate-
really good. Oxtail is, especially like, and what the good thing about oxtail specifically is just the flavor that it gives. Any soup that you put oxtail in is gonna be busted.
It's gonna be hit.
It's gonna be hit. Like oxtail
Yeah.
just gives you that type of that. It just gives you that type of
Yeah,
that.
but you know, when you're making Haitian food or Caribbean food, you know, you the bone is part of the
bone is
thing.
part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because the marrow
Yeah.
seeps out from there, and the
Yep.
bone adds a little flavor, extra flavor to it. You got, man, you can even buy bone broth. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is why, you know,
Yep.
it adds to the flavor of what it is you're cooking. So
Mhm.
oxtail got a bone already up in it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
it's
Might as
definitely
well
going.
add some oxtail. So that's just my personal little touch to it. And then like over time, I might add a little couple, you know, hints of Darwin here and there. In terms of my own little, my you know, spice it up a little bit different. Maybe add a little component. Maybe the noodle, change the noodle up, maybe, or something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That would be
I'm not
interesting.
sure. You know what I mean? Because like the particular noodle you use can be a little bit more silky,
Yeah.
you know, as you eat it. You know,
Yeah.
the mouthfeel might be a little different. The flavor profile doesn't change, but the mouthfeel might be a little different.
Yeah. The texture. for
How
sure.
I chop up the vegetables.
Yeah.
Some call it for shredded. Maybe I might want to do a little cube, you know what I mean, or diced, depending on, you know, and how I want like the spoon experience to be when it. So there's a whole science to the soup making, y'all.
Yeah, it
Don't
is.
think in the
Yeah.
science to that joint.
Yeah, good.
And it's
soup,
not just
good
Haitian soup. All soups they have a
Yeah.
science to make it. It's
Absolutely.
like baking almost sometimes.
That's why you have like chili competitions and all that stuff. Like it's
Yep.
it's
Yep.
it really is a science for sure. Yeah, so that's dope, man. Like having tradition and having culture, I think is very, very important. That's something that a lot of groups of people don't necessarily have. That's something that I hold dearly for like my people for sure. My culture, my traditions.
It's Challenge Day.
1492, Christopher Columbus lands on the island of Hispaniola and begins enslaving its people. European diseases and brutal working conditions bring the indigenous population to the brink of extinction. Over the next 300 years, hundreds of thousands of slaves are imported to meet the needs of their European colonizers. 1791 through 1804. Fueled by the ideals of the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution begins when slaves and those of mixed race rise up against their oppressors in one of the largest and most successful slave rebellions in history.